Welcome, everybody, to the Eden Army podcast. I am your host tonight, Pete Robertucci. We do this little podcast every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe because it helps get our word out, especially nowadays. It's going to be important that we do get our word out. And I'd also like, with that being said, I'd also like to thank Terry for her resub. She's 20 months. She is the OG of the Eden Army. And Meta is right behind her at 18 months. So thank you guys very, very much. We certainly appreciate that. I'm low, like I said in chat, I'm low energy tonight, guys. I got the Dolphins on my mind. I just don't know how bad they're going to get their ass whooped tonight from the Buffalo Bills. I suspect it's going to be pretty horrible, but I'm not going to miss my night with you guys for that ass whooping, that's for sure. But what is on the agenda? First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who got the latest edition of North of Eden, book 2, which is Battlefield Birchwood. No spoilers in the chat if you've already finished it. I know some of you have already finished it. Just please don't forget to leave a review on the Amazon because that helps. And look, I hope you guys loved it. I certainly liked writing it. It's easy writing up here. There's enough characters to go around. That's not a problem. So let's start off this evening by, let me just say this. I am not a fan of this cancel culture that is going on. Okay, not on our side, not on their side. But I'm really not a fan of giving evil a platform, especially when it's being backed by the supposed news agencies, the ABCs of the world, the NBCs of the world, right? These people that have FCC licensing to be nonpartisan, okay? So if you have a late night show, just have it be entertainment, jarheads, okay? We don't want to hear your political opinion. You want to take a jab at the orange man? That's cool, all right? You want to take a jab at dementia Biden? That's cool every now and then, right? But here's the deal. And I'm going to get into some statistics later on when we really talk about this, but it has gone so far to the left that once I give you some numbers, you're going to lose your minds, okay? So we are going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel getting cooked from ABC, as he should. We're going to talk about Patel, the FBI director, taking on the leftists in Congress, okay? If you didn't get a chance to see that, you might want to look that up a little bit. But for our main topic tonight, and something I want you guys to really pay attention to, is we're going to talk about target indicators and how to avoid them, especially in this day and age. Look, there are evil people out there that don't care who you are, but if they see something about you that might think you sway one way or the other on the political spectrum, they are going to target you. So we need to recognize our target indicators, especially when we're out in public, and we'll see. Hopefully you'll learn a little bit of something. But before we do any of that, I'd like to speak on the rumor mill and how it's affecting the Kirk narrative. And I'm just going to give a quick example. I'm not calling anybody out, but on YouTube, I watched a scout sniper, and he's a professional. Thank you for your service, sir. Blah, 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 whatever. But he swears up and down that bullet actually came from behind Charlie. And he has all these amazing diagrams. He has the background to really give some credibility to all these diagrams that he's putting out there. And he's got a huge following. So these people are believing this. I think in this day and age, with all the internet experts, sometimes we fail to see the bullseye, even if it's right in front of our eyes. Okay? Even if it's right there. The people responsible for this, and yes, I said people, and I'm talking about the Kurt assassination. The people responsible for this, whether it's Trump labeling Antifa a domestic organization, a domestic terrorist organization, they're being actively pursued. Okay? It could be the endless people that this assassin chatted to on Discord prior to the attack. It's being pursued. Let it play out. I am not gonna muddy the waters with conspiracy theories. There's enough evidence out there right now to say this kid right here shot Mr. Kirk. There's enough evidence there. Hands down. Whether he had co-conspirators, it's very possible. That is very possible. And if not conspirators that had hands-on in the operation, definitely people that prescribe to the ideology that got Charlie Kirk shot. Okay, so let's not muddy the waters. Let's not talk about a magic bullet. Let's not talk about this. They got the shooter. Let the government, and look, I'm not a fan of the government. I'm telling you right now, I'm not a fan of them. Let them do their work before we start saying, no, that work is wrong, right, or indifferent. Look, I'm not a scout sniper. I'm not. But I'm not a stupid person either. If you have a twink on a rooftop with a 30-06 and he confesses to his tranny, I can't say tranny on YouTube, his transvestite lover, that he did it, leaving evidence behind, and them turned on him, right? Then there you go. That's enough evidence for me to say they got the right person. Were there co-conspirators? Yes, there were co-conspirators. Whether it was being in the act or forcing the ideology. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know by labeling Antifa a domestic terrorist organization does much because of how split up their cells are. But one thing is for sure, they will go after the financiers of it one way or the other. So that's something I'm just going to wait and let the process play out. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the show, and we're going to be back with the crew right after this.
You look around, you got psychos everywhere, pushing, poking, daring you to snap. And the question is, how much more did they think we were going to take? They put a bullet in a good man in front of his wife and kids. They butchered a young girl just riding a train. Every day it's another murder, another freak show. And these sick bastards clap like it's a game. And behind it all, Democrats, feeding the sickness, celebrating death and degeneracy, unleashing crime and poisoning everything they touch. They turned evil into a movement, and they call it progress. They call us monsters, while they mutilate their own kids and kill in cold blood. Well, guess what? Enough's enough. The die's cast, and we're not taking any more of their sick fuck bullshit. We're awake now, and justice, you better believe it's coming.
You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country.
Rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
There you go. Let's bring in the folks here. Guess it didn't bring you in, Russ. Let me do it here real quick. Boop. Boop. There we go. Paulie, come on in. I got you. There you go. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Well, it's been a tumultuous week, I think, right? I'm looking over here on chat. I got Lewis came in. He's old school. He's old school 3%. Good to see you, brother. Glad you made it over there on Facebook. We don't stay on Facebook for too long, but we will tonight for a while. But Russ, how you doing this week, brother?
Man, it's you're right, man. It's been a week. It really has. Quite hectic. Still, dealing with the after effects of the events of last Wednesday and the other events of everything else that's going on. You mentioned Jimmy Kimmel. Good riddance. But
Yeah.
We're counting down the days till we leave here, and while we don't want to leave, we are excited about being at Fallout and seeing all our folks, seeing all our friends. Miss Terry and I were chatting in Kick before the show, and she likened it to a family reunion, and that's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Fallout, Paulie's going to be there with us, I think, right? Is that the case, Paul? Have we decided that?
I will be there.
Outstanding. And Miss Melissa wants to know what shirt you have on.
Well, I have on the new shirt that was just released. I had to forego my my usual polo or button down.
And which one is that? Is that the Drink Whiskey, Avoid Idiots?
Yep, drink whiskey, avoid idiots.
That is words to live by, my nephew. That's good stuff. I'm looking over here on chat. Let me scroll through this stuff. Patrick Sevens in the house.
There's a ton over there, my brother.
I already mentioned Luis. Good to see you, Louis.
And
Larry Dial.
Miss Julie Dorn followed the channel while you were doing your monologue. So thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Miss Julie. Yeah, I got a crush on him. Let's see here. The Illinois event was okay. FIB was over in an event in Illinois. He was sporting the ATF is gay shirt, which I appreciate. I appreciate that. Good job catching that, brother. What else do we have? Looking anyway.
Yeah,
a lot of people in chat. I love it.
A lot of people in chat. There's 31 viewers over on Kick right now.
We got 35 total. I will take that every day of the week. Javi's in the house. He's over in Texas right now, helping his brother. So very cool. I went and worked with Javi over there in Texas once, and I can tell you, if he's still awake right now, working in that heat and stuff like that, that is the testament of how much of a hard worker that dude is. Because I tell you what, they wore me out when I was in there working with them boys.
Well, before we go any further, Pete, once again, you mentioned it in the you mentioned it in your monologue. Congrats on book 2 of the North of Eden. Teresa and I are both done with it. It was absolutely, we couldn't put it down. I read it yesterday. She read it today. It kept us engaged. You knocked it out of the park, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, for you Audible folks, Matt's working on the Audible. It's coming. So I've already given him some money, which means he better be. I better not see him on here tonight. I'll tell you that much. You better be recording. What you better be doing. He'll have that out as soon as possible. Hopefully, I'd like to get that out. It's stretching though. It's stretching by Fallout, but we'll see. We'll see. He seems to think around the 18th. But again, we'll see. That's what happened last year. Remember, I was doing a podcast from Fallout.
Yep.
And Audible approved the audio version of it. No spoilers. I said that. No spoilers. Diane, I hope you're enjoying it. I saw that you grabbed it. I appreciate that. Yeah, Kelly, we know you can't read. We will have a picture book coming out for you soon. That way you can just flip through it, and we'll put it in Braille or something. I don't know. Whatever gets you through the day.
I'm gonna steal your thunder for just a second, guys. Hayden Creek Chronicles: Shadows of Martial Law will be coming out on Audible hopefully before the end of the year. I'm taking auditions now.
There you go. So 2 Audible books coming out, and then Chris's book well, I'm not going to speculate when that's going to come out. I'll leave that up to him. Oh, that reminds me, guys. Wednesday night on the Angry American podcast, I'll be there. We're going to talk shit. Is it Wednesday, Russ? Wednesday, I'll be there. We're going to talk shit like we always do. When me and Chris get together, there's no telling what's going to happen. So tune into that. That's for damn sure.
So Corey asked about the narrator. It is the same narrator as Birchwood 1.
Yeah, I am going to keep the same narrator throughout the different series. We got Chris Ennis over on the Eden series, and then we got Matthew White on this particular series. And speaking of the Eden series, I'm already knee deep into it, so I plan on getting that one knocked out as soon as possible in between all this traveling I got to do. So apparently this has become a business, so I guess I got to start working.
Yeah. And as soon as we're done with Fallout, both of us are going to run home for a minute and turn right around and go up to CanCon. Guys, if you missed T's podcast on Monday, talking with Patrick, that's an event you don't want to miss if you're able to get up there.
Yeah, and I was voluntold last night or Tuesday night that I'll be teaching a defensive pistol class. Now, I don't know how much of a defensive pistol class you can teach in 30 minutes, but I'll read the crowd, and then if I feel like they're competent, we're going to go to single man, limited penetration, Israeli CQB. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I'm going to show them some different techniques.
Yeah. Diana, yes, the message did say no more Wednesdays until after Fallout, but it also said we would be having special guests on for time to time. Pete being a special guest, and for informational, 1 October, we will have the one and only Franklin Horton on over there in the Angry American.
There you go. So I'll stink it up as a terrible writer, and then they will bring in a great writer to follow me up to show you guys how it's really should be done. So there you go. That's perfect.
Well,
Yeah,
and-
I'm looking, Patrick. I am looking forward to seeing you over at CanCon as well as Fallout, brother. Now, look, I don't know what you look like, so introduce yourself to me. That's what Bullshite had to go through with me when I was dead tired, and he came up, and anyway, it all worked out. I brought a camouflage number 7 shirt for Fallout. I'm also going to. Outstanding, Patrick. Very cool.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to have a number 7 shirt on, so we know it's him.
Perfect. Remind me of that.
I will.
That 30 minutes before I meet him.
Yeah, that's a lot of bourbon between now and then.
Yeah, Kelly, I am special. I rode a short bus all through high school, and I wore a helmet up until middle school. So, and that wasn't because I played football either. So very cool, guys. I don't know. Go ahead.
It's because you didn't wear a helmet while you were skateboarding is the problem.
True story. Guys, I don't know if you caught it. But Kash Patel, the FBI director, was in front of Congress giving testimony. And of course, the psychopath leftists were trying to grill him on things. But I will tell you that Kash is not the man to F with. Okay, he's not the man to F with. He could care less. And the dirt he has on Schumer, well, forget it. Let's roll that clip. I got it.
Inmates. What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
For what you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of
over.
this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what
you-
my time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time's over.
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going
but
anywhere.
I am.
You see Booker's eyes in that? The man is a complete and utter psychopath. That just shows the liberal rage, right? And no, Kash said, I'm not going anywhere, you fucking buffoon. I'm not going anywhere. So there was a lot of other clips I could have taken out of that, but I don't want to bore you guys to death. The man is not to be trifled with. I hope he does his due diligence with this Kirk case, as well as prosecuting and hunting down and potentially stringing up these Antifa terrorists, because that's what they are, right? That is what they are.
Yeah.
So cool stuff. What did I just see here? I want to talk. We might as well now. I want to talk to this point here. And I want to say something about this, Candace. Now this has gone away because Mrs. Kirk now is the CEO of Turnpoint USA. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't had the chance to look at Candace Owens' 1-hour podcast the other night, I would say watch it. And I'm going to give you a different take on this, and it's not going to be popular. But you know me, I don't care what's popular. I don't give a shit, right? I'm going to tell you Pete's take on this. I'm going to tell you where I think this is originating from. Candace Owens did a 1-hour podcast the other night where she basically was very upset. Charlie Kirk was her friend. I get that. But again, she went off on this huge tangent, except she didn't say it, all but blaming Israel for the attack on Mr. Kirk. Okay. And now, if you know anything about Candace, of course, her and Shapiro had a problem, and she was called an anti-Semite at some point because of some of the... Now, look, she is not happy with our government's involvement with Israel. I understand that. I understand she's not happy with the policies that are being directed towards some of the war efforts of Israel. I understand that. Wholeheartedly, I understand that. But what this reeked of, guys, Paul and Russ... What this 1 hour reeked of was a power struggle within TP USA. Okay, she was, in my opinion, my humblest of opinion, she was so afraid that Shapiro was going to take this man's seat that she was going to say or do anything to discredit, well, Jewish people. I mean, let's just be honest, right? Again, she didn't outright say it, but she pretty much said that Netanyahu had something to do with Mr. Kurt's death, which I do not believe he did. And I'm going to tell you, Netanyahu came on TV and he said, somebody asked him, did you guys have anything to do with, wow, that's, oh, perfect. Did you have anything to do with Mr. Kirk's death? And he said, that's absurd. That's absurd. So then the internet geniuses got in. Why didn't you just say no?
Yeah.
Okay, so then Netanyahu comes back out and he says the thought that Israel had something to do with this man's killing is false. That means it's not true. It's false. So he said, no, we didn't have anything to do with it. And then you know what, even conservatives, you know what they're saying now? Why you have to say that twice? Why are you so, now why you have to be so vocal about it if you don't have anything to hide? Stop.
Exactly.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
They have the killer. What Candace Owens' 1 hour podcast to me was a power struggle within TPUSA, and that doesn't need to happen. All right. And hopefully that is all squished now that they've named a new CEO. Now they need to put somebody in that seat. And with the amount of money they got coming in and the amount of chapters they're opening,
over 50,000 now.
It's on like Donkey Kong, like Lala would say.
Yep.
Right. So there you go. Let's see what else we got here. Let me look.
Well, the one thing before we go any further, I know we knew about it earlier. Corey finally caught up with everybody else. Yes.
Yep. It was announced on Facebook.
Facebook recently. Congratulations there, Bullshite and Mrs. Bullshite. And that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time at Fallout with him. So that's gonna be cool. Matt says a book is I didn't feel like it was action packed. I just felt like it flowed. I tried to do, but apparently it's action packed. Yeah. Okay. And hey, let me just say this. This is not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler at all. Sorry, Javi.
Yeah, exactly. I can't believe you did that. And that's all I'm saying. And no, folks, with the exception of one or two paragraphs at the beginning of the book, I never got a chance to see it while I was up here until it was published. And I'll say it again, I couldn't put it down. So,
yeah, I kept that one under, in my pocket until it went out. And then even when it was live about 3 days before I announced it. So that's just one of the things that you have to do to help that algorithm. So look, let me clue you guys in on how this stupid Amazon thing works for future reference.
Which I'm learning.
Yeah, so you give them a book and they make it go live. However, they don't assign it the genres for 3 days. Why is that important? So that the sales for the first 3 days don't count toward your rankings. I don't care about rankings other than if you hit a certain goal, then Amazon promotes your book for free. So there you go. Now you know, for you aspiring writers out there, now you know. That's how that works. No, I'm working on killing Airman Orr off in the Eden series. I'll work on that though, brother. That could happen, actually. Someone's got to go. It might as well be you.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's again, I'm low energy. Guy, you're responsible for posting the score of the Dolphin game in chat every now and then, since I'm not able to watch it. And I know you're a Buffalo Bills fan, so
yeah. So
make me just.
But
hate the night.
Somebody I'm not a fan of, and never was anyway, is Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel is. Let me give you some stats on Mr. Kimmel. So, first of all, before I do, you remember when Johnny Carson and And they were always a variety show, right? They were always it was always just laughter and stuff. They never got political. Never got political. So Mr. Kimmel showed his cards on a number of different occasions. If you look back at the statistics, liberal guests outnumbered conservative guests 30-1. 80% of his jokes, which weren't funny, were geared toward GOP candidates or the president of the United States, the orange man, Donald Trump. It was far from a variety show. It was far from entertaining, unless you were a psychotic leftist, right? So he's taken some heat. And before you get in an argument with any of these stupid liberals about there goes free speech, read the First Amendment. That whenever anybody says there goes free speech, you know they've never read the First Amendment. They've never read the Constitution. Free speech has nothing to do with a morality clause. In a company, right? If I were to say something stupid when I was employed as a civil servant, guess what would happen? I would get the axe. It would be done deal, right? So I didn't say anything stupid, and I didn't post anything on the internet that was, well, I did, but I just never really got caught. But the fact of the matter is
thing back then.
What? Well, yeah, it was not too much. But the thing of it is you can tell a joke as long as it's funny, right? And one thing I would say is, and this has to do with teachers also. Teachers in a classroom,
even more.
If I can tell your political views while you're teaching a class, you suck as a teacher. If you're a comedian and 80% of your jokes are biased to the left, you suck. Okay? If you have 30-1 liberal guests as opposed to conservative guests, you suck. So enjoy your time at Walmart, Mr. Kimmel. When I get there, make sure you sanitize that fucking cart for me, right? Because I don't want to get any of that COVID on me, right? And make sure you're wearing your mask because you're ugly. Carry on. Let's run that clip.
But first tonight, we do have major breaking news to bring you. ABC is pulling Jimmy Kimmel off the air indefinitely over his controversial comments about Charlie Kirk's assassination. ABC's decision came after Nexstar and soon to be announced Sinclair would be announcing that they would stop airing Kimmel's program. That's a big chunk of Kimmel's stations around the country. Earlier today, the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, who will join us in a moment, threatened action against Disney and ABC over this comment that Kimmel made on Monday, labeling the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin as a MAGA. Take a look.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Not funny and fake news. Sadly, this was not the only vile comment about the Charlie Kirk assassination. On Monday night, Kimmel made this disgusting remark about President Trump's grief over the assassination. Take a look.
This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Now, remember, I have been calling out Jimmy Kimmel's reprehensible comments and dialogue for years now.
And it goes on and on and on. I didn't want to play it all because I didn't want to bore the life out of everybody. But this is going on throughout society. It's not just the hierarchies over there in Hollywood. Like Patrick says, there are teachers right now losing their job because of their leftist ideology. And it's not even that it's moderate leftism. This right here is evil. This is evil. Go ahead, Russ.
And, you know, MSNBC, which we know is the poster child for leftist rhetoric. You know, Chris Hayes over there is an absolute hypocrite when it comes to this stuff. You know, he sat there just recently and said to Jimmy Kimmel, this renders the First Amendment meaningless. Yet, in 2023, when Tucker Carlson got fired, he said, and I quote, he believed he could say anything, no matter how disgusting, and get away with it. I mean, then we see this we see this with the politicians as well. It's okay to be against cancel culture, be against other cultures, as long as it fits their narrative. And
Paul, well, you're right. You're right. Paul, what do you think? I mean, politics aside, do you think that it's a violation of the First Amendment? Yes or no? And you can expand on it if you'd like. But, I mean, at some point, the First Amendment applies to government action as opposed to, and we're going to talk about a slippery slope there that actually happened in this Kimmel thing. So what are your thoughts on that?
So it's for everybody that's watching, I'm still in the workforce. So a conversation that we have before every show is, I need to pick and choose the topics that I talk on because this will affect me. Jimmy Kimmel is learning that firsthand, the things that he's going to say, and they get approved by his editors. It's like encouraging your friend to do something stupid. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, definitely say that. That's going to be a great idea. So I think he's just getting a taste of what it's like for us common folk out there, as opposed to some celebrity. And I find it amusing that all these woke people are now experiencing what woke culture is going to do to them, and it's a nice slap in the face for them to enjoy.
Well, and you talk about, and that's a great point. And you talk about actual suppression of the First Amendment. Twitter canceled a sitting president's account. Complete suppression on their report. Now look, they had it's their business. They can do whatever they want. I get that. Where the slippery slope lies in all of this is where the Trump administration FCC director got involved and said he was going to pull their license if they didn't do something about Mr. Kimmel. This is where that's that slippery slope. So I could see some pushback a little bit here on this one. Go, Russ.
And before we get on to the next clip, Roseanne Barr got fired. At Obama's request. Gianna Carano, Megyn Kelly, Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, we talked about. Parler got taken down because Apple, Google, and Amazon colluded in 21 to wipe the entire platform off. J.K. Rowling, Mike Lindell from My Pillow, because let's see, Alex Jones. There's two sets of rules. They can sit there and lie. Russia hoax, the whole Covington kids smear, Jesse Smollett, and laugh about it. But if we do it, they try to destroy it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing, right? They demonize people for doing what they do. Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's nuts to me. Kelly, I can attest to this firsthand. By the way,
absolutely.
Paul, you've never heard this story, but the first time I ever met Mr. Kelly, I was tired, right? I was tired. I'd done my, shaking hands and kissing babies thing at Mountain Readiness. And I go to the campfire and I walk up and I got my glass of bourbon. And I sit down next to this guy. I don't know him. And he looks over at me just like this. And he goes, "You're cute."
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I was like, I like this guy. Because he's a good liar, first of all, and he's funny.
Yeah, you had it wrong. You're shaking, like Patrick just said. You're over there shaking babies and kissing hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to be honest, the first time he was at Fallout, he did get it backwards, and that lady was not happy with you.
That's true. That is true. So we showed you the reaction from Fox News on the Jimmy Kimmel being suspended indefinitely from ABC. What did Trump have to say about it?
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
Boom.
That's good.
I love that guy. I love it. Yeah. Look,
I love that.
He's doing that in front of the Prime Minister of the UK, for the love of God.
Oh, but if you watch the rest of that, there was a British reporter that put the Prime Minister on spot in regards to why 12,000 people a year over in Britain were getting arrested for social media posts that went against, the
Right.
cancel.
Hey,
And
talk about suppression of the First Amendment. I know they don't have a constitution over there, guys. Relax.
And Trump kept saying, I'm not going to answer. I mean, you need to ask him. It was hilarious.
Exactly. Paul, were you going to say something?
I was going to say it's funny that I had a couple comments about Kimmel. One, he's never been funny. Even when he did the Man Show, Adam Carolla carried that show.
Agreed.
Yeah, it was much better when it was Adam Carolla driven skits. But I think it's funny that liberals who say, please don't tell us how to grieve and how to deal with our emotions, say this is how a 4-year-old grieves the loss of a friend, not, a president grieving the loss of his friend, a grown man. That just really stuck out to me off that clip.
Yeah, and I agree. Look, first of all, the Democratic Party right now is reeling. They are reeling. They don't have any kind of direction. They have no clear leader. Every leader that's getting proposed to them right now are Marxist, are communist, right? And that party is 100% being split, and they're getting ready to lose their funding because of this FBI investigation on the on the Antifa being labeled as domestic terrorists. Watch, they are diving into George Soros like you would not believe. Something like $80 million he's given to far left organizations that have promoted violence. We'll see what happens.
Well, and I mean, we talked a little bit beforehand about Mandami and the New York mayoral race. The mayor or the governor of New York has come out and endorsed him, but the Democratic Party itself has not. They said we're not going to endorse him, and it's tearing the whole base apart, which is, and honestly, what we need, because we do not need him in as a mayor.
And it's so funny because Youkal came on TV and she has she blames the orange man for her supporting the communists. She says, I have no choice but to back this candidate because of Donald Trump.
Again, orange man bad. What?
Crazy, right? I'm going to hit some of these pinned comments real quick.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're right. They didn't have Jimmy Kimmel pulled, Patrick. But the FCC director threatened ABC, and that may have led to that. So I agree with you. They didn't have him pulled. The networks, the networks were split, right? There were two different ones. There were ABC, and then there was another affiliate network, and they said, we're no longer showing this guy shit, right? But the fact of the matter is the FCC director never should. He didn't have to do that. And that's where he muddies the water a little bit when he does that. Let's see what else he says here. The FCC could have him pulled, though, because there's law in the books that talks about lying. Yes, he could. But assuming you're a news agency, that being a variety show might be a little bit weird there. Here's the thing about the comment he made. The information that the guy was already a leftist. Now, he wasn't transsexual. His boyfriend was, right? Kimmel knew that, and he still went on and tried to do that monologue, which shows how stupid he was. And guys, I want to point out something. And Paul, you had touched on this a little bit. I want to. You said, he said that knowing it was wrong, and all the people around him. That shows you the type of people he put around him. Mm-hmm. Like if I do my monologue, right? And I have Russ there to say, Pete, don't say that, right? Don't say that, because this was what the repercussions of saying that could be, right? Everybody this buffoon surround himself with were psychotic liberals. Nobody said don't say that, because yesterday they came out with this evidence, right? So that tells you everything you need to know about Hollywood right there. What else we got pinned here?
They're well paid. They're well paid people that he surrounded himself with.
Oh yeah,
to let him make stupid, to let him make stupid comments and.
Yeah, I mean, and you talked about me when we talked about what you're going to talk about with your monologue. If I'll say, hey, maybe you can rephrase it something different, but ultimately it's your show, and you say what you want to say, and you do, and I just try to keep you safe. That's all we try to do here.
Yeah, yeah, and you know it's true. And maybe somebody in the back end did say that, and he's just so far left and so indoctrinated that he just went on with it. I would hope that at some point he surrounded himself with a person with intellect instead of emotion, right? Instead of crazy emotion.
Well, and you know, we talked last week about how we are now becoming targets. UNC Wilmington is a perfect example of that right now. You know, they had a Republican group on campus, and they were told they had to move their table where they had always said it because they didn't ask for permission to put their table there. They never had to ask permission before.
Mm-hmm.
They've had people coming up, destroying their displays and stuff like that. It's very, very active, folks. So you need to be careful. And
yeah, we're gonna talk about our main topic today because we try to do a little teaching moment on the podcast, and we're gonna get to that, Russ. I promise. After we run your promo video, but
well, nope, not tonight, brother.
No, I'm not worried about that. But we need to. I mean, let's just talk further a little bit on some of the pinned comments.
Yeah, there are a couple of good ones in there.
Yeah, you're right, Teresa. He won't return the favor because he's not a Democrat. He's a socialist and a Muslim, guys, and a Muslim. Let me just leave that where it is.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got here? I haven't read this one yet. Let me see. Yeah, I saw that, and they nailed her. There were a lot of people that are losing their scholarships in college, or a lot of teachers that are losing their job. There was a nurse who spoke up against a doctor who was talking smack about Kirk. She got suspended. Finally, the hospital came, got a little bit smarter and said, no, we can't do that. Gave her job back and accepted the resignation of the doctor. There's a lot of that going on. And that's what we need to. I don't get too active on arguing with people on social media. I will tell you what I do. I've got a hashtag that I use. Only I use it. It's only mine. And whenever somebody says something stupid, I hashtag them with that hashtag. That way, if I ever have to go back, I just search that hashtag and I know who all the communist bastards are around me. Think about that. Think about that.
Yeah. I mean,
just saying, just think about that.
You know, being up here, knowing when I came up here that, especially last year, I'm like Wisconsin, that's a pretty blue state, but it isn't. There are sections of this state that are blue, but the majority of the state is red. And I feel more so comfortable up here. But we always need to be aware, but
we always need to stay vigilant, right? We always need to stay vigilant. Here's what we're going to do, Russ. We are going to take a small break. Guys, stick with us. We're going to run your promo. Drop the socialist platforms. Guys, we're going to be entirely live on Kick after the break. Russ, make it all happen, brother. It's up to you.
Right,
work your magic.
I don't want to do it because it's your but
carry on.
In a fractured America under martial law, retired Air Force veteran Cole Ramsey faces a storm of betrayal and chaos at Pete's place.